Hey everybody, today is another windy and rainy day in here. It seems like we're getting more rain than usually. And so I already told you this is not going to be Vlogmas at all, but it's another stay-at-home day. So yesterday, look how long my hair it is that you cannot even fit it in the frame. See? When you stretch curly hair, it goes to great lengths. I'm glad I'm never going again with short hair ever. So yesterday, Kayla and Brett left, and you probably seen that on the vlog. And I got a comment on my Instagram from a subscriber from a friend actually, because on Instagram I just have friends, and he was like, "Where did you get that attitude from?" And he was like, "Okay, so today it's rainy, so it's gonna be a little bit of a story time kind of my life and why I'm weird in a way, not that it doesn't come with your DNA, but why I am ingrained the way I am." So it's a short story, it's a long story, you can stretch it or shorten it however you want to, but in a nutshell the answer would be, if I am a little bit odd, that's because I was almost exclusively raised by males, and I'm a female. So that did something into my brain, my attitude, my way of thinking. So my response, instead of crying in front of the egg that's been thrown numerous times against my door, has been like, this is war. And then I think it, and looking into retrospective, is like, whoa, but there's this instinct, and that's not to justify anything, but here's the story. So I grew up in a normal family, but my parents were working really hard, long hours, and so they never were home. And I saw my mom when I woke up and at lunchtime, and that's it. And my dad, I saw him at lunchtime, and that's it. So we didn't hang out that much to begin with. My parents, even though they were the ones taking the decisions on how my life should be shaped and where everything should lead and whatnot, they were not there. They couldn't, and they had other responsibilities. And so I spent the majority of the time doing extracurricular activities and with my grandparents. And so the main caretakers of me, because when my sister, who is older, she was born, my mom could stay at home and she could do, but when I was born, she couldn't. And so my main caretakers were both my grandparents. So I started to grow up and whatnot, and I had a grandpa, my mom's father, who was very active, and we would be always outside and playing and going to the garden and learning about nature and whatnot. And then there was my father's father, who was always reading at home and the newspapers and books and poetry, and he would always like stimulate your brain, like take it a little further and a little further and a little further. It was like this challenge, right? And so that was the beginnings. Enter when I started going to school, and I started, of course, my parents enrolled me in numerous extracurricular activities, so I would spend plenty of time doing things and I wouldn't be alone or idle. And so they enrolled me not just to music lessons, but they enrolled me to the swimming club, taekwondo, an instrument, of course. And at the music school, the music teacher that I had ever since I started music school when I was 4, up until when I left to study, and I was 18, fortunately enough or whatever, it was the same one. He is a male. He was the director of the orchestra as well, but for whatever reason he was our teacher. There were numerous teachers, but we always had him ever since we were these tiny little boogers up until we were, teenagers and whatnot. And so I spent a crazy amount of time at the music school. We would go there to music to just musical language that he would teach to us. Then a little bit of piano, he would teach that to us as well. Then the orchestra, which he conducted, so we stayed with them. And then instrument, that since I chose tuba, and it's more of a masculine instrument, kind of, and it was like breaking taboos. I was the first woman in Spain to play tuba. This girl here. Nowadays there's a bunch of them, but I was the pioneer in the 90s. Kid you not. And my tuba teacher also was a male, so I spent plenty of time with them. After that, when I went to the swing club, it was more mixed. There were girls and boys and whatnot, but our swimming teacher was male. And then when we went to Taekwondo, that's the Air Force. And then when we went to Taekwondo, our Taekwondo teacher, he is a male, and he was the only teacher that existed in this town. And I went there from when I was 4 up until I was 18 as well. And so since they enrolled me, my parents, I wanted to go to ballet, mind you. But my parents' decision was like, there's no way, you're a woman. I learned that when I was older, but it was like, there's no way, you're a woman, you have to learn to defend yourself. So they enrolled my sister and I when we were 4, each of us when we were 4, to Taekwondo. And I went there, and there were girls as well. I wasn't the only one, but I would say it was 30% girls, and the 70% they were boys, and our teacher, he is a man. And so I spent plenty of time with men as well. And all of these extracurricular activities and all these males involved playing tuba, going to Taekwondo. Needless to say, the majority of friends that I made were boys my age or similar age, because I was doing activities. I mean, take this, if I were going to sewing classes, or I don't know, to ballet, probably the majority of people hanging out in there would have been girls, and so I would have been more of a girly girl. But growing up, I was quite of a tomboy, because such was my life, such was my daily activities, and these are the things that I was doing. I never played football, so but we built these little cabins with wood that we would find and whatnot, and I wasn't the girliest girl out there, but it was just normal. Now, growing up, I kept all these friends, and ever since, given the fact that I've been surrounded mostly by men all my life, it's been always easier for me to be around men than women. But my best friend, she's a woman. But yeah, so when I moved to Barcelona to study and whatnot, it's not like I did that purposely, but you start hanging out with people, and at my faculty it was mostly girls, but I lived at campus, and we started hanging out with neighbors and whatnot. Long story short, I found out myself hanging out with a group that there were like few girls, and the majority, again, it was boys, and we would play guitar and whatnot. And so this has been good and bad and whatnot, but this has been interesting to have been sharing this part that, had I been raised the normal way, it would be a mystery to me. But yeah, I had this bodyguards, like growing up, that it would bother me to some extent that when we were clubbing, for instance, and I would like a guy and I would like for him to approach me and whatnot, that very seldom happened, because they would intimidate the dude. And so whoever person wanted to approach, they wouldn't, because there I am dancing and surrounded by 6 boys, I kid you not, and they were like, is he bothering you? Do we need to? No, please let him approach me. So reached to this day, having all these male friends has been great. I hang out easily around boys, men, because of that. I am not a man, I'm not ingrained like that, but I understand a little bit what goes on in their mind and whatnot. But at the same time, the downfall is that as we grow old and they meet they meet a couple, a significant other, a girlfriend, later on a wife and whatnot, 8 times out of 10, I don't get to remain friends with my friend, and this saddens me a little bit. And that's not because of them, but that's because of the women, and that's a thing that it's a bad thing from my gender, if I'm to be honest. Like, you cannot hang out with women, you cannot have this level of connection with a woman because I am your woman. Oh my god, not every woman out there is out to get your guy. Don't you get that this man has been my friend from forever and we've been through thick and thin? No, they don't. They do not, and they would rather not. So my interaction with my friends, who are mostly male, my female friends I get to hang out more, but with my male friends, take this the other day, December 1st was the birthday of my best friend. Of course, we spoke on his birthday and we were on the phone for quite some time, you know, because he's away, he lives in the Netherlands. Everyone, I should move to the Netherlands if something. Dogs go to the Netherlands, my best friend as well. Maybe it's a sign from the universe. Anyway, and yeah, I was speaking with him and whatnot, we were chilling and just catching up, you know, as you do. But instead of hanging out as we would do back when we were in college on a daily, grabbing a beer and speaking and staying up until 5 a.m. watching stupid programs on TV and whatnot, now we get to speak like every 3 to 4 months, once, if that, because the lady doesn't like for him to be hanging out with me, even on the telephone. Come on now. And so, yeah, we were speaking, it was good, but it was like, okay, so now she's getting home, so I gotta get going. People have to be able to hang out freely with whomever they want, to be it male, female, or alien. It doesn't matter. If they're with you, that's because they want to be with you. But all of these men of my life that I'm truly, honestly grateful for, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today if I hadn't had these experiences in life, had led me to have some reactions that probably a female wouldn't have. Like when my neighbor, she told me about the incident with the egg and whatnot, probably I would have done the same that she did, which I did the previous times that we've been attacked with the egg. But this time around, this more manly attitude of not surrendering and getting your vendetta really showed up in me. Just like that, and it was like, this is war, and I was ready, like, I kid you not. Now it almost makes me laugh, but when I did it, I thought, oh my, if he opens the door, it's not that I'm leaving the dookie in there, it's that I am splashing the dookie into his face, because I am that was war for me. And I don't know, maybe that's the hormones as well, but it was war. And it reminds me a little bit, not that I should be proud of, but it reminds me a little bit of my late teen years when me and my friends would play, yeah, we were quite grown up, but we would play jackass around town when we would come on the weekends, and yeah, whatever. But it was a good laugh, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today hadn't I had this experience. Would it be different? Probably. Would that be better or worse? Who knows? But that's the story of the day, and yeah, I'm leaving you with that, and see you soon. Bye.